morning. I'm Robert LeBoyer, the Senior Biotechnology Analyst at Noble Capital. With us as our next presenting company is Zomedica and Larry Heaton, the CFO. Zomedica is in animal health and has built a company with several product groups. And here to tell us about them, Larry, take it away.
Thanks, Robert. I am Larry Heaton. I am the CEO of Zomedica Corporation, where we are about the business of helping veterinarians take care of your pets and ours. We do that, forward-looking statements, we do that by bringing innovative and very proprietary technology, diagnostic and therapeutic device technology to help veterinarians do 5 things. We refer to them as our 5 pillars. We help veterinarians improve the quality of care for the pet and the satisfaction of the pet parent. That's, after all, why they're veterinarians. But because they're also in business, we help them do 3 additional things very importantly. We help them improve the workflow, the cash flow, and the profitability of their businesses. Now, the animal health industry is big. The market's huge, $62 billion last year. During the pandemic, we saw a huge increase in an already large market. 23 million puppies and kittens were added to households. The people that brought in the most of them were the youngest among us, assuring us a future generation of pet parents. And it's pet parents. Dogs aren't outside now anymore. They're sleeping in the bed. And there, as it turns out, there are a whole lot of things that people would give up before they would not take their sick or injured pet to the veterinarian. And so it's a large market with legs growing that's resistant to an economic downturn. The challenges faced primarily by veterinarians are staffing, very tough to fill a very labor-intensive business, and also providing additional revenue growth. Whether they're independent veterinarians, as about 60% of them are, or they're members of a corporate group. Into this market, we bring products in 2 segments, diagnostic devices and therapeutic devices. On the therapeutic side, we have the PulseVet shockwave system that is used in the clinic, and then the Assisi loop, which is sent home with the pet parent. On the diagnostic side, we have a laboratory analyzer, a digital cytoscopy platform, or fancy name for an electronic microscope, and a truly unique, completely touchless, wireless and remote monitoring system. All of these things walk all 5 of the walks, including those 5 pillars. Now, when you take them in the aggregate, that gives us a huge market opportunity. Our addressable market for recurring revenue in the United States alone is over $2 billion. Each of the products that we've acquired over the last 3 years has been designed to produce recurring revenue for the company. So all of them have a recurring revenue component. In addition, we have an opportunity to sell capital along the way. I should say that $2.5 billion is a large addressable market. Last year we did $25 million. 1% penetration of the market. When we get to 2%, just over 2% penetration, that'll be $50 million in annual revenue, and at that point we'll be cash flow positive and on our way to GAAP profitability. We've launched these products in a fairly steady cadence over the last 3 years. I should mention the company's been around since 2015, but really got serious about getting into business in October of 21. I joined as a CEO. We closed our first acquisition. We've made 4 since then. And each acquisition has allowed us to add an additional product to our portfolio to achieve those 5 pillars for veterinarians and to generate meaningful revenue and significant margins for the company. Our channel to market is direct, plus distribution, plus online. In other words, we're omnichannel. We make it easy for us to do business with. We have a direct sales force in the United States, about 35 salespeople. They're backed up by 4 professional services veterinarians to provide ongoing clinical support to our customer base. In addition, we distribute through the animal health distributors in the United States. And we also have, because of our CC Loop product, we have channels through Chewy and Amazon and Pet Wishes and all the rest of the online channels. Outside the United States, other than Japan, we work through national distributors in each country. Now, when we started 3 years ago, we had the PulseVet, which is used in 30 countries in the world for equine veterinarians, but not so much at that point for small animal veterinarians, as that was an opportunity for us to grow into the market. Since then, we've added additional distributors in various parts of the world to carry not only the PulseVet and the CC products, which were on the market when we acquired them and had international outlets at the time, but also our 3 remaining products, which we primarily developed ourselves. Those products all have received CE mark during the course of this year, and we're busy about We're busy now introducing those products into international outlets. This provides us an outstanding opportunity to generate additional leverage, operating leverage, because with these outlets, we have no additional sales and marketing costs as these are borne by the in-country distributors. In Japan, we have a wholly owned subsidiary. We currently sell the PulseVet system to equine veterinarians there, and we're currently processing the needed approvals to sell our 3 diagnostic products in Japan in the new year. So we've done pretty well from a revenue standpoint. No million in 2020, 4 million in 21, just over 19 million the next year, just over 25 million last year, and this year we're at 19.4 million through the first 3 quarters. We expect to see significant growth year over year with our performance in the fourth quarter, which is typically our highest quarter of the year, as we sell a lot of capital, especially to equine veterinarians in this quarter. While we're doing that, we're generating margins close to 70%. Last 2 quarters were over 70. Over the last 3 years, we've seen some choppiness in margins. They've gone down to 66, up to 72%. Those lower margin quarters were the result of integrations of the 5 acquisitions that we've made and the things that you do when you bring manufacturing from a third party to in-house. We currently manufacture all of our own products at our facilities in either Georgia or just outside Minneapolis, all made in America. We still have substantial capital on our balance sheet and no debt to be able to continue not only to fuel organic growth well beyond profitability, but also to make additional acquisitions to the extent that they would meet those 5 pillars. A little bit about the products. Shockwave. Whoa, that sounds dangerous, sounds electrical, but it's not. It's a sound wave. It's a sound wave that's generated by the system that you see in the bag. It's mobile, so equine vets and mobile vets can get out to their customers. And that consists of the system and the controller, and then the little handpiece you see in front of it is the consumable. We sell the system for $30,000 and the consumable for $2,000. On average, equine vets will use 3 of those consumables each year, and small animal vets to date use 2. So every time we put a system in for $30,000, we can count on $4,000 to $6,000 in revenue in the coming 12 months. About 65% of our revenue from this business comes from the consumable products. When we bought PulseVet, 12-month trailing revenue was $12 million. Last year we did just over $19 million 2 years later. So we're seeing substantial growth in this product. It's because it's so effective. There are over 20 published peer-reviewed clinical articles in the animal health journals that show that if the dog is going to limp in to the exam room, when they're done with the PulseVet treatment, they're going to walk out. And within 2 weeks, they're going to be back on their feet and they're going to be tremendous. A severe osteoarthritic dog that was on a drug, Rimadyl, every day for a year, with the PulseVet treatment, you don't have to see him again for 9 to 12 months. Economically, it's covered by pet insurance, which hardly any of us have, but it's covered by pet insurance for the same reason it's a good deal for the pet parent. And that is because a single $300 treatment, or maybe 2 separated by 2 weeks apart, provides substantial relief, significant satisfaction on the parent, and it's less money than paying drugs or going to surgery. With that said, for the company, it's for the veterinarian, it's also a good deal, because just treating 120 treatments a year, which is 60 patients in a year, 5 per week, they're going to generate enough revenue in the first year to completely pay off the system, and after that, it's all profit. So this is the foundation of our revenue to date, and we continue to see extensive growth opportunity in the future. Now, when they're done in the clinic, pet parents like to be involved in the continuum of care. The Assisi loop is targeted pulse electromagnetic field energy. It's a wave that is produced by that loop. We make them in 20 centimeters and 10 centimeters and a smaller one for dental. We put them into bed so the pet can lay on it. And in each case, again, backed up by clinical research, we find that a 15-minute treatment is going to increase endothelial nitric oxide, it's going to reduce inflammation and pain. After about 150 of these treatments, then they're going to need to get a new one. So we sell these to the vet for $200, they sell it to the pet parent for $300. After that, they can buy them online through Chewy, Amazon, or wherever. And this is a product that, again, provides substantial recurring revenue over time. Shifting to diagnostics, our laboratory analyzer, it's not unique that we have a laboratory blood analyzer. There are plenty of them out there, IDEXX, billion-dollar company, Baxis, Antech. But ours does what others cannot do. because we uniquely use the bulk acoustic wave sensor. This is a sensor that allows us to measure changes in mass by changes in resonance. And by doing that, we have an expanded dynamic range. So when our sales reps walk into the account, they don't say, hey, I have a laboratory analyzer, we'd like to compete with your other business. They say, I see that you have fill in the blank laboratory analyzers here. You like to do things at the point of care for a whole bunch of really good reasons. But what are you doing with quantifiable cortisol or quantifiable CPL or EACTH? And the list goes on. And the answer is, well, we have to send those out to the reference lab. Would you like to do them in-house? Because we have a system that is the footprint of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that will provide you at no charge, just like the big companies do. And all you have to do is buy the cartridges. And with that, we're able to be a complement to the existing systems. We currently have, our business model is pretty simple. We put the system in and then we sell the cartridges for anywhere from $29 to $80. We currently have 13 assays on the market. We have a couple more coming this year. This is a great growth opportunity for the company as well. When you're a pet and you're in the clinic, the most vulnerable is when you just got out of surgery. About 73% of the time, pet dies in the clinic, not associated with euthanasia. It's after surgery. Or if you're in the ICU, or if you're alone in the clinic overnight. Vets whose primary concern or primary issue is staffing don't always have the staff to be able to come in every 15 minutes or 5 or 30, however their protocol is, to go over and get the vitals from that pet. And when they do, they're not shooting a laser gun at their forehead to get the temperature. They're putting it where you have to with the pet, so it's disruptive to the pet as well. With the Vet Guardian system, you hang it on the outside of the cage, you point it at the animal, and it automatically picks up the temperature, pulse, and respiration, the vital signs. It also takes a video image and streams video. It's night vision for if they're at night in a dark clinic, and it's thermal imaging camera as well. And so with all of these taken by the system, shot up to the cloud, and then brought back down to a big monitor in the treatment room so that they can see all the monitors that are on all the pets. And therefore, it improves their workflow considerably. It provides them a new revenue stream because they're typically charging $50 for a session or $100 overnight. We charge $4,500 for the system, and then there's an annual recurring fee for cloud service and warranty. The real recurring revenue here is when they want another one. It's like a Lay's potato chip for those of you old enough to remember those commercials. You can't just have one. Because, I've still got this one on this patient out of surgery and I have another patient coming out of surgery. Or you might be like a doctor from Orange Park, Florida that bought one, was using it extensively and said, you know what, I need 10 more. And we installed all 11. We actually had to expand our monitor because previously you could only see 8 at one time. Anyway, this is a great opportunity. It's not only a new product, it's a new category. And we're getting a lot of interest all around the world in this technology. We're super pleased that we got the CE mark for it. We'll be selling that internationally in the near term. The microscope, TrueView. You know, there's lots of digital microscopes out there. This one is a digital microscope and a telepathology platform. It is completely and 100% unique in that it prepares the slide for the technician. With a blood slide, the technician has to put the blood on the slide, then take another slide, smear it just so, get a nice feathered edge, and then they have to dip it in stain 3 times and affix it, and they have to wash it, and they have to dry it each time. It's a 5-minute process, 10-minute process. Depends on the skill and of the technician. With our system, you put the blood on the slide, you put the slide in the machine. It does all the rest for you. It saves considerable time for the technician, and it's meaningful time, because they're now able to walk away and go do something else that's important, that's going to be helpful to the pets that are in the practice. The one thing we didn't have is an AI interpretation of each slide. Sure, you can look at the slide on the system. You can also look at it on your computer in your office later because it all goes to the cloud and comes back down through their Zomedica portal. But what you couldn't, and you can get a pathologist report, press a button, and we'll get a board-certified pathologist report back to you within 2 hours. But what it didn't do was provide an AI interpretation of every single slide that was put in. That's in field testing now. We expect to roll it out yet this year, but December's here. No, it might be early January, but in any event, we expect we'll see meaningful revenue from this in the coming year. This system we put in there for $500 a month. We charge $75 for the pathologist report. We'll charge $15 for the AI reports. It provides a nice, steady growth of income as we increase the install base. And we're not done. The PulseVet system, new indications. Earlier this year, we saw reports that say, for the first time, veterinarians can use this to treat asthma. When you think about treating asthma, for people. It's inhalers and all that stuff. Think about putting that on a horse. It's a little harder. With this system, what they found is that you can use it on asthma, and then you don't need to see that horse again for 6 to 9 months. They're not coughing anymore. Yeah, horses do cough. I didn't know that either until the asthma study. New indications abound with PulseVet, and we expect to continue to increase those. I just mentioned that we've got the AI coming for AI interpretation for the TrueView. We already use AI in VetGuardian. We'll be expanding that to the equine market in the new year. So there's lots of opportunity for us to continue to innovate this technology for veterinarians. From a financial standpoint, as I mentioned earlier, revenue last year was just over 25 million. Gross margins are at around that 70% level. Revenue has been growing steadily. Each quarter we set a new record for that particular quarter on a year-over-year basis. And as I mentioned, we have $77.8 million in liquidity, meaning not all of this cash because you want to invest it and earn some return on it. It's cash and available for sale securities. So we have a significant market opportunity. It's a large market, it's growing, it's resistant to economic downturn. It is one where pet parents will do the right thing by their pet. We've heard that pet visits are down, but those are well-patient visits. You skip your 6-month visit because your dog is fine. But you're not going to skip it if your dog has all of a sudden a partial cruciate tear. You're going to come into the clinic and you're going to be given a choice with PulseVet. Use the PulseVet treatment, $600, 2 treatments, 2 weeks apart. Or you can go to surgery. That's the gold standard, it's $6,000. Have at it, right? Large growing market, resistant to economic downturn, innovative technology. We're all alone in most of these cases. There's no competition. Where there is competition, we're highly differentiated and unique. We built out the sales marketing channel over the last couple of years. When I leave here, I'll be going to the big equine show. There's a big vet show in LA right now. I think it's LA. It's on the West Coast, I'm not going. And that's where vets go, bring their checkbooks and do their shopping. And we're there just at Christmas time for them. Lots of opportunities to continue to innovate, not including M&A, which is a considerable opportunity for us as well. And from an operational standpoint, we control our own destiny. We control the supply chain. We manufacture all our own products. We built out our facility in just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. It can scale to 5 times last year's revenue. We're in a long time before we have to make additional investments there. And our facility that we picked up a year and 2 months ago in Plymouth, Minnesota, we put a robotic assembly system in there. It costs us $5 million, but it can produce 1 million cartridges a year on a single shift. And we have a significant opportunity for continued growth funded by our balance sheet. From a cash standpoint, $78 million, plenty for us to do everything we need to do to get to GAAP profitability. And it's also declining in terms of the use of cash. So each quarter this year, not only our total use of cash, which includes the capital expenditures and investments that we're making, but also our operating burn has gone down. And we expect, since our major capital acquisitions, our major capital investments have all been made, we expect that total use of cash and the operating burn will be very close and will decline on an ongoing basis as we move forward. We look forward to profitability, and we look forward, at this point, to your questions.
Great, thank you. We now open the floor to questions. We one on the side there.
I was a little late coming in and didn't study this, but it's a spectacular. First off, you do a great presentation.
Oh, thank you.
That's really good. Where did this 100 million or 78 million come from?
So, company was founded in 2015, investment banker that loved animals, a veterinarian that worked technology transfer at the University of Michigan. They spent 5 years and they did a bunch of raises over that time. He was really good at finance. Each time there were warrants associated with those private raises for a public company. Went on the Toronto Exchange, came down, went on the New York American Exchange, this is where we are today. In 2020, the business side hadn't really developed. No products on the market, handful of employees, the middle of COVID and so on. The board and that CEO at that point abruptly parted ways. They brought in an interim CEO, Rob Cohen, and he began sorting things out. What will we do next? And then in early 21, when AMC and GameStop, that was at the stage, Zomedica is about 7 cent stock, They have no products on the market, a handful of people. When AMC and GameStop went to the moon, Zomedica hitched a ride along. Some people think it was because Carol Baskin, the Tiger Lady from TV, did a cameo about Truforma and how it was going to change the world. It will, but it's going to take a while. Some people maybe thought they were buying stock in Zoom, which would have been a pretty good buy back in 2020 maybe. But for whatever reason, it went from 7 cents to $2.98 a share. So you had almost a $3 billion market cap at that point. Aspirational for us now, but at the time it was real. All those warrants were executed, right? So now you've got a lot more shares out there, and the company did a secondary and brought in another couple $100 million. And so now the company has over $300 million in the bank, and almost 1 billion shares outstanding. Well, there was no there, and stock price came down the market.
Have you announced a reverse split?
So we attempted a reverse split earlier this year.
You what?
We attempted a reverse split.
Attempted?
And the shareholders rejected it. And they rejected it because they were the ones that bought the stock when it was at $2.98. Our investor base currently is primarily retail. And they were not pleased with the idea of giving up some of their shares for fewer shares. So we learned from that. We learned a communication strategy. And if you follow Zomedica, you'll see that we issue frequently press releases on things that maybe aren't as momentous as all of that. But what we learned from that is that our retail investor base really likes to be communicated with. They like to hear news early and often. And so that's what we do. We anticipate that in the future we will address the cap table as it needs to be. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions?
It's still 5 times sales though, right?
Our market cap, you mean?
Market cap to sales, about 5 times?
Yep. 5 times sales, and doesn't really take into account the 78 million in capital, but that's for the market to decide. Somebody else had a question.
Requirement on the stock price?
So we're listed on the New York American Exchange. 20 cents is the threshold there. We're below 20 cents. That's why we attempted a reverse split a little earlier than we had anticipated and planned, and maybe that was the other reason that our shareholders were not happy. So we told we wouldn't do it until later, and then we did it earlier. We've met with the exchange since then, many times, and what they've told us is we're good unless the stock falls to a precipitously low level. We're a real company, real products, real organizations, and so I don't think they're all that nervous about us, being a fly-by-night. Yes?
Well, while you mentioned burn is declining, and you do have significant runway, I haven't read your last Q. Could you give us an idea of what the current burn is?
Yeah, so last quarter we burned 4 million operating and 5.2 million total. The quarter before that, we burned 5.2 operating and a larger amount because we were making some investments in our plant in Minnesota.
So roughly 20 million last year, you're expecting that to decline?
Yeah. Yes?
How large is the monitoring business? How many daily overnight stays are there in the US for pets?
So
And are you the only product on the market in that arena?
we are the only product in the market for wireless remote monitoring, right? The monitoring, I would say that the primary reason people bring it in is for post-surgical monitoring, right? And every clinic in the country does some sort of surgery, right? I'm from the human health business market. I was surprised by that, to know that GPs do surgery, but they do it every day. And so every clinic in the country is a potential customer for VetGuardian. Not every clinic keeps pets overnight. AAHA, the American Animal Hospital Association, have guidelines that say you have to monitor the patients overnight if you're going to have them be there overnight. So if you want to be one of the 4,500 or so accredited AAHA accounts, you have to have that. Well, before now it was bring in, have somebody there overnight. It's not so good. But now you can monitor remotely. When we first launched this product, I was at a trade show and a woman came up and she was looking at the...
With more than 6,000 small and micro-cap companies listed, if you're looking for the next Apple, then Channel Check truly is your trade. It's an investor community where you can access independent Wall Street research, advanced market data, balanced news, corporate videos, and podcasts. You can even register to attend in-person Meet the Management Series lunches and to be part of the preeminent annual Small and Microcap Investor Conference, NobleCon. And here's the best news. Since Channel Check is sponsored by the featured companies, premium membership requires no investment. It's absolutely free. So check it out. Log in today. Find out why Channel Check is North America's leading source of research on the companies that just may change the world.